I will give you a presentation about the connections of wilderness to the EU biodiversity agenda, and also I will mention something about the connectivity as such in the European biodiversity agenda. I was searching for pictures for this presentation, which from a subject is not that probably not the most interesting, if I say. I knew that there are pictures and people have been using paintings for this kind of presentations. They have used especially national romantic paintings. So I started looking for those paintings. I found one from 1899, painted by Pekka Halonen, and this painting is called Wilderness. Of course, in Finnish it's Erämaa, so this is Finnish national romanticism. I'm not a specialist in art, but if I understood correctly, the national romantic painters wanted to show precious things, and sometimes they were painting nature. In this case, Pekka Halonen wanted to paint wilderness, and I started looking at this picture and I saw it actually includes many aspects of wilderness, of those things that we are interested in. It first of all, it shows a vast landscape. Actually, it doesn't show any human influence. It shows structures and functions. It shows pet food. It shows some bird food, and so functions are also there. I would say it's a natural forest fire. A natural forest fire has been here some time before. So I have some other similar pictures in my presentation, and I would say that you can always find some similar aspects. They are all this national romantic style. Finally, these same things as I mentioned that you could find from that picture, you can also find included in EU legislation and EU policy. First of all, the EU approach in nature conservation is science-based. We have fully understood and incorporated the importance of functioning ecosystems and structures and functions. In the Habitats Directive, a favorable conservation status, which is the ultimate objective of the Habitats Directive. The favorable conservation status of habitats is described by two aspects. On the other hand, structures and functions need to be in place, and on the other hand, typical species need to be there. And it also covers the areas outside Natura 2000. It talks about connectivity, and I will talk to you later a bit more about connectivity and what the Commission is doing with that. Now I think I've correctly referred to Steve's job. Approximately 99% of the protected wilderness in EU, according to the IUCN classification, can be found within Natura 2000 network. So it shows the importance of Natura 2000 for wilderness protection. And the most important function of this slide is to make it clear that the EU biodiversity policy is totally in line with a wilderness approach, and if someone explains something else, it's a misunderstanding, and we need to correct that. The wilderness on European biodiversity agenda, in short, it was first appeared in the European Parliament resolution in 2009, and after that, later in 2009, there was first the European Council Presidency Conference in Prague, where wilderness was discussed on European level. And then just last year, in the end of last year, we had another presidency conference in Brussels, focusing more in the restoration of wilderness. But before 2009, it didn't really exist as a topic on European agenda. Therefore, it's pretty interesting to note that at the moment it actually has penetrated the EU agenda, and you can find it in different places. I will go through the 5 first slides in more detail. I will first go to the biodiversity strategy and explain you a bit what it is. It was just accepted in last June, if I'm not mistaken. And that's the frame of biodiversity policy in EU until 2020. First of all, this biodiversity strategy includes a vision for EU biodiversity policy. The vision for year 2050 is by 2050, European Union biodiversity and ecosystem services provides its natural capital of protected, valued and appropriately restored. It's a bit longer than that, but this is the most essential in terms of wilderness. The 2020 headline target is more concrete, and it is it includes halving the loss of biodiversity and the degradation of ecosystem services in the EU by 2020, and restoring them insofar as feasible by stepping up the EU contribution toward averting global biodiversity loss. So this is the main tool to achieve EU's own commitments in biodiversity protection. So this is the structure of the biodiversity strategy. It consists of the vision, the target, then sub-targets, and headline target, and 6 targets, and then more precise actions under every target. I will go to some of those targets, which I estimated more relevant for wilderness. The first one is nature conservation target, and as the text itself is very unclear, I will explain it here. It means simply by using one example. The EU has set a target in relation to habitats, for example, to get instead of the Annex 2 habitats. In 2020, it will have 34% in purple conservation. But if that is not possible, then what we didn't achieve, we should find somewhere here, moving from bad status to inadequate way. So that if we don't get actually this number doubled, we would at least get things moving to better direction. The actions in relation to this is, of course, completing the Natura 2000 network by 2012, including marine areas. The integration of Natura 2000 in wider landscape has a link to green infrastructure. I will talk about that later. Management plans developed and implemented for all Natura 2000 sites, and we will start a new biogeographic process, and I will talk about that in a bit as well. One of the very topical issues right now is to ensure adequate financing of Natura 2000 sites. You might know that the budget period is coming to an end and the new budget period will start. It will mean that all the sectoral policies are reformulated, and these discussions are ongoing at the moment. So what kind of budget we will have, what kind of common agricultural policy there will be after 2014. Fisheries funds, cohesion funds, life funding, and prioritized action framework, which is something the Commission has asked the Member States to do in order to spell out the objectives of the Natura 2000 network and to prioritize their actions so that the EU funding can be used in a wise, appropriate way. I will not go into details of the rest of the actions. You can find this in the internet. But I will move on. The second target in the biodiversity strategy is ecosystem maintenance and restoration. By 2020, 15% of ecosystems should be restored. This will be done by developing a green infrastructure strategy. This strategy will be ready most probably in 2012. Because it's still in an early stage, although discussions have been going on for a while. I'm not capable of telling you many details, but I can show you some pictures later. One of the targets is sustainable forestry. Creating management plans is in the core of that. And under this target, we managed to get one action where wilderness is actually mentioned. Action 12 includes also preserving wilderness areas. It has some other bullet points under it, which can be considered as a bit contradictory, and definitely it needs to be develop further, we need to put some flesh on the bones so that we know what this actually means in practice. So sustainable fisheries in marine environment can be important for wilderness as well. We will work for that. And we have set a target to combat alien invasive species. And it can be important for wilderness, although wilderness areas might be more resilient against any invasive land species, for example. But as we saw and we discussed yesterday, raccoon and American mink are good examples of invasive species which can have an impact in wilderness areas as well. Then I will move on to talk about guidelines on management of wilderness and wild areas in Natura 2000 network. It's an ongoing contract. We are under which we are preparing guidelines on management. We will make sure that that kind of misunderstandings, as we know exists, that those are corrected. We will give good examples of how wilderness is managed in Natura 2000 network, how it supports the objectives of Habitats Directive, and we will, quite importantly, give also examples of those conservation measures have been put in place, including administrative, contractual, statutory measures. And we will talk about restoration as well. This guidance document should be ready by the end of this year. We are also developing a wilderness register, but in there, due to the phase of the process, I cannot talk much about that, but definitely we are doing something. We are building on Steve's work. Steve has done mapping on wilderness in Europe, and we want to build on this and move forward to build a better picture, a whole picture of the situation with wilderness in Europe. And now I'm all in order for that. I already said that green infrastructure will be the main tool to take care of the connectivity in the future. And there will be a strategy in our Commission communication in 2012, so next year, and it will further elaborate the concept of green infrastructure. But definitely green infrastructure includes connectivity, but it also includes restoration of areas. And here I have the pictures showing what it can be, but it's better to follow the process, and you will first of all be able to influence on the process, but you will also get the first-hand information what it will finally include. But as you can biodiversity can mean aqueducts, it can mean more traditional nature conservation planning, planning networks, tree corridors, and so spatial planning. We are also studying a new biogeographic seminar process. The last process was related to designation of Natura 2000 sites. This process is focusing on management of Natura 2000 sites. The first seminar will take place in Finland in spring 2012. We have made a first scoping document where we have tried to find species and habitats which handling of which in this seminar would bring the most EU added value. We will try to find habitats and species which are important for which cross-border cooperation is important. And we are trying to enhance the discussion between member states, between stakeholders, between experts to define the objectives of the Natura 2000 network and to learn from the best practice, from the best management. And this all will hopefully lead to and help in achieving the biodiversity targets and help achieving the favorable conservation status of species and habitats. So this is my last slide. I tried to pull together the things I said before and I tried to extract the essential evidence and what could be your role during the coming times. First of all, we need your expertise in preparing the guidelines document for wilderness management and in preparing other guidance documents as well. And we hope that you are active in those new biogeographical seminars and that you are active in our standing expert group on Natura 2000 management. This expert group has meetings twice or 3 times per year in the Commission. You are the important local anchor. PANPARKS is a good example of PANPARKS approach is a good example of how the interface with local communities is maintained and managed. And you are also an important political ally to the Commission. You are actually making the case for investing in Natura 2000. That's important for us so that we can ensure the proper inclusion of Natura 2000 to the other policy sectors, so that the financing can be ensured. And you have an important role on your national level once the EU instruments are ready and comes to the implementation of those instruments at national level.